I want to also go to another big story, and this one got a little bit missed this week here with everything else going on with the big, beautiful bill. But it's the University of Pennsylvania, which, of course, was the center of the Lia Thomas transgender athletes case. Now, they have said they are going to retroactively strip transgender swimmer Lia Thomas of her records and titles as part of a big deal with the Education Department. And they're going to get a large amount of the funding that they had lost from the Trump administration back. This does seem like a huge win for common sense. But again, this is one of those issues where the Democrats wind up on the wrong side of it compared to, well, probably about 80% again of Americans.
Yeah, even Democrats are with Donald Trump and Republicans on this issue. Your average Democrat voter, that is, not, of course, the lawmakers. You know, when there was a bill in Congress about this to have women's sports be actually women, not a single Democrat voted in favor. Not one, James. It's incredible. And yet, you know, here we are. And I have to say, to me, this is a huge win, as you said, for common sense. And also just, you know, morality. I mean, this is not something that Donald Trump is doing to try to, you know, get some more money so he can spend it somewhere. He's not trying to, you know, lower someone's taxes so they'll donate more. It's nothing of typical politics. This is literally just because it's the right thing to do. It is wrong to have biological men competing in women's sports. And Donald Trump knows that, and his administration has said it's not going to happen anymore. And in fact, the fact that it even happened at all is wrong. We are going to make you retroactively give the awards to the women who actually won them. And again, this is not for money or anything. This is because it is the right thing to do. How often do we see politicians doing something simply because it's the right thing to do?
Well, yeah, all too rarely, I'd say. But also, just on the subject of victories for this administration, this was an interesting one to me because it also goes to the heart, not just of the issue of picking the wrong side of these things, but also the way certain parties tried to tip the scales in some of these elections that we've had. And Paramount Global, which is the parent company of CBS News, they've agreed to a $16 million settlement in a lawsuit brought by President Trump over 60 minutes editing, deceptively editing an interview. Now, what tells me here is that maybe that they're less concerned about the editing, but that they're settling so soon, they're actually really concerned about the discovery phase, what going to trial would reveal about the way these left-wing news organizations worked to try and tilt the truth and try to deny Donald Trump a victory.
And James, that's an insight that a lot of people here in America are missing. You know, a lot of people are saying, oh, they capitulated, they're scared of Trump, but they didn't realize the real reason. And I think you've hit the nail on the head. Discovery. In the discovery period, that's when, you know, the opposition's lawyers get to look at the emails, get to look at the phone records, all of this stuff. And it's really incredible. I mean, this happens all the time in journalism. You know, the mainstream media doing their best to get Democrats elected. This was just one of the few times we actually saw a little bit of what happened behind the scenes, because they released a clip as a tease that had one of the famous Kamala Harris word salads.
Yeah.
And then, of course, I assume, you know, someone probably in the White House and the Democratic Party said, hey, can you change that? And by the time they aired it, they had actually deleted the word salad and had him asking the same question and her giving a different answer from another part of the interview. You rarely see how the sausage is made, so to speak. But in this case, you did. It was such an obvious example. And, you know, this happens all the time. You just don't get to see it. But one of my favorite parts of this settlement is that apparently there's also going to be, you know, worth in the mid 8 figures. So we're talking, you know, tens of millions of dollars of advertisements and public service announcements that CBS is going to have to air on behalf of conservative causes. And we know that John Whitaker, who did that interview with Kamala Harris, was apparently teary-eyed when the settlement was announced in a staff meeting. I can only imagine his tears and the other liberal tears that are going to flow when CBS News is forced to air conservative PSAs. It's going to be great to see.
That is so fantastic, and I love that they are going to be forced to air this stuff that they don't want to air and have suppressed. Anyway, Kelly Jane Torrance, thanks so much for joining me this 4th of July. Have a great 4th.